Okay, so if you work on a loading dock here in Australia, you're not just moving boxes. You're right at the heart of the entire supply chain. But, and this is a big but, you're also in one of the most dangerous spots. So today, we're going to unpack just how critical your role is, and maybe more importantly, the legal weight that comes with it.
Let's just jump right in with a number. 25%. Think about that for a second. What do you think that number represents in your world on the dock?
Well, here it is. A full quarter of all warehouse accidents happen right there on the loading dock. That's 1 in 4. Statistically, that makes the area where you work the single most hazardous zone in the whole supply chain. That's a pretty sobering thought.
Okay, but it gets even more specific than that. Here's another number to wrap your head around. 7,000. And we're not talking about a one-off. This is something that happens every single year.
Yep, 7,000 forklift falls from loading docks annually. That's just staggering. And you got to remember, these aren't just statistics, right? Behind every single one of those incidents is a real person, a real injury, a family that's impacted. And that is exactly why what you do is so much more than just a job. So, with the stakes this high, it begs the question, who's actually responsible when something goes wrong? Is it just the driver, the guy behind the wheel? Well, the answer might surprise you. It's a lot bigger than just one person.
You know, it's pretty easy to see a truck on the highway with a load that shifted and think, well, that's the driver's problem. But the law in Australia, it doesn't see it that way. It looks at the entire journey, and that journey starts long before the wheels start turning. It starts with you, on the dock.
And this brings us to a really key idea that you absolutely have to understand. It's called the chain of responsibility, or COR for short. Basically, it's a legal principle that says safety isn't a solo mission, it's a team sport.
Yeah, the best way to think about it is like an invisible chain that connects everyone involved in the process. Every single thing you do, every decision you make on that dock, it creates a ripple effect. That ripple travels with the truck, sometimes for hundreds of kilometers down the road.
And just look at how long this chain is. Wow! It's not just the driver. We're talking loaders, unloaders, packers, the people who schedule the trucks. Heck, even company executives are on the hook. If you see your function on this list, guess what? You are a legal link in that chain.
All right, so that's the big picture. Now let's get specific. Where do you fit in all this? Let's figure out what your link in the chain actually is.
And here's something you really need to get. The law doesn't give a hoot about your job title. You could be called a logistics magician for all it cares. What matters is what you do. It's your function, your actions on the ground, that defines your legal responsibility, not what's printed on your name tag.
Okay, so this table breaks it down really simply. Are you a loading manager? That means you're coordinating things, especially at a busier site. Or are you a loader? That's the person physically putting the goods on the truck, whether it's with a forklift or by hand. And then there's the unloader, doing the reverse. Have a quick look and see which one of these functions really describes your day-to-day work.
All right, so now you know your legal role. Let's connect that legal stuff back to the real world, to the everyday risks, the daily gauntlet you run on the loading dock.
I mean, this list is basically your workplace in a nutshell, right? You've got slips and falls, massive forklifts moving around, the risk of being struck by something, not to mention vehicle movements and manual handling. It's this constant, high-stakes dance of heavy machinery, nonstop movement, and crushing deadlines. And managing all of that, that's not just part of the job. It's the absolute core of your professional duty.
And let's circle back to that scary number we talked about earlier, 7,000. That number really shines a spotlight on the single most dangerous spot on any dock, that gap, the edge, the space between the dock and the truck.
So what can you do? How do you tackle the risk that big? Well, it comes down to taking deliberate, practical steps every single time. Number 1, secure that bridge. Make sure the dock plate is locked in. 2, manage the traffic. Keep people and forklifts separate if you can. 3, inspect your machine. Do those pre-start checks. And 4, the big one, mind the edge. Use barriers, use warnings, whatever it takes. And listen, these aren't just friendly suggestions. Under the chain of responsibility, these are part of your legal duty.
Okay, so when you start putting all these pieces together, the law, your specific role, the risks you manage every day, something amazing happens. Your job stops being just a job. It transforms from a simple task into a genuine profession.
And this right here is the biggest mental shift you need to make. The old way of thinking, oh, it's just unskilled labor, just moving boxes. But the new reality, the legal reality, is completely different. You are now seen as a skilled professional. You're not just moving boxes, you're managing risk. You're not just following orders, you're making critical safety decisions that have real legal consequences.
This quote from the experts really just nails it, doesn't it? The days of treating loading work as unskilled labor are long gone. Your role demands skill. It demands knowledge. It demands professional judgment.
And when you boil it all down, this is what it's really about. This isn't just about avoiding a fine or staying out of legal trouble. It's about protecting yourself. It's about looking out for your colleagues. And it's about keeping every single person on the road safe. It's about making sure that at the end of a long, hard shift, everyone gets to go home. So, I'll leave you with this one question to think about. The next time you walk onto that dock to start your shift, ask yourself this: am I just here to move goods, or am I here as a professional, managing risk for the entire supply chain? Because honestly, the way you answer that question, it changes everything. Thanks for joining me.